There are something like 200 versions of microclimates on Earth. However, I am not going to make you go through all of that. Really, that's for a meteorology and or climatology class. This is a physical geography class. We go through the Earth system in a general sense with the science components to it. What I want you to know is this. There are three basic types of climatic zones on Earth. Those three types are the tropical zone, the mid-latitude zones, and the polar zones, what I'm going to refer to as the Arctic and Antarctic zones. I articulate those in that way because technically these are phonetic words. So you say all of the letters. It's not Arctic and Antarctic. It's Arctic and Antarctic zones. Let's go. The first of our zones is the tropical zone. It's found from 23.5 degrees north to 23.5 degrees south. Hopefully these are becoming very familiar numbers and places to you. 23.5 degrees north is the Tropic of Cancer. 23.5 degrees south is the Tropic of Capricorn. This is the only zone, as you should now know, that receives the subsolar point and therefore maximum solar energy and radiation. Because of that, very simply, we can characterize the tropical zone as being hot year-round. The second of these zones is found between 23.5 degrees north, which is the Tropic of Cancer, and 66.5 degrees north, which is the Arctic Circle, and in the southern hemisphere, from 23.5 degrees south, the Tropic of Capricorn, to 66.5 degrees south, the Antarctic Circle. These are the northern and southern mid-latitude zones. This is where I live. I live in the northern mid-latitude zone. Now remember, in the southern hemisphere, they will have opposite seasons from the northern hemisphere. Therefore, if it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it will be winter in the southern hemisphere. If it's fall in the northern hemisphere, it will be spring in the southern hemisphere. Okay? These two zones, both of them have the same characteristics, the seasons will just be opposite, are characterized by having warm to hot summers and cool to cold winters. Now in California, especially in Southern California, people think when the temperature gets to be 55 that this is cold. I lived in godforsaken northern Illinois, sorry if you're from Illinois, for 1 year, and it got down to be minus 40 one night. That's cold. 55 degrees is not cold, that's cool. The last two zones, one in the northern hemisphere, one in the southern hemisphere, are found from 66.5 degrees north to the North Pole and 66.5 degrees south to the South Pole. These are the Arctic and Antarctic zones. The Arctic zone is the one in the north, from the Arctic Circle to the North Pole at 90 degrees north. The Antarctic zone is the one in the south, from the Antarctic Circle down to the South Pole at 90 degrees south. These are characterized by having cool to cold summers and really brutal, frigid winters. It's hard even to describe how cold they are. Exceptionally cold, minus 50, minus 60, minus 70, minus 80, minus 90, minus 100. Very, very cold during the winter in those locations. And as you know, these are places that much of them are not going to be getting any sunlight at all. And that will allow for maximum cooling to occur. These are also the only two zones that receive 24 hours of daylight during their summer months and 24 hours of darkness during their winter months. I've been pretty close to the one in the southern hemisphere and at the one in the northern hemisphere during the summer period. It's an amazing thing to see the sun go around you in a circle rather than rise in the east and set in the west, and at 2 o'clock in the morning have broad daylight going on. Many times I've had vets who were in the military, the United States military, who were stationed in Alaska and talking about things like playing baseball at 2 o'clock in the morning in broad daylight in Alaska where they were stationed.